commercial that is it Alec Baldwin, what you have in your wallet? They were very careful today to say that we work for HTI, we don't endorse any vendors. I don't work for HTI. So we say, what do you have in my wallet? You can't see it right there, but that is a little Drive Saver sticker. The reason this is my wallet is it isn't because, I thought I put this in my wallet when I came out and did some training for you guys out there in California. But it was actually when I sent you guys one of my drives that crashed and burned. And I was like, oh, eek. Too late to back it up now. So I called my friends at Drive Savers and sent it out there. They sent me my drive back with some stickers. And I put the stickers on my laptop, I put the stickers in my wallet. And that bad boy's been there ever since. So Darren, let's give them another hand response. All right, so other fun things are happening today is where's my folks from Swans? Swans, where you at? Folks from Swans? How many of you were there years ago when I came to visit you? You were in Swans years ago.
I was there, but you didn't visit me.
But I came visit the people that I like. Swans here, I got a story that I'm going to tell. It's a story, part of the story that you've heard me tell before about something I learned from your company. I just met her name already put in my Echo Pass. Where are you at? Echo, tell me your name again.
Here, so.
Yeah, you've worked there for a whopping 6 weeks. Whopping 6 weeks. And so I was saying hi to her on the break. Echo Pass, like, I used to work at Echo Pass. I worked at Echo Pass, I don't know, 14 years ago. Echo Pass was born out of the company I worked for that introduced me to IT and the world of IT support called Cento. And at Cento, this wouldn't be a big deal now, but if we go back in time, let's go back in time 14 or 15 years. Can you remember anyone 14, 15, 16 years ago that was doing integrated chat, voice, and email? Can you think of anyone? Right? And then was selling it as a service. So that, right? So that a phone call, an email, and chat request could come in. It would go into the same infrastructure and be delivered to the agent, giving everything the exact same priority. In the same bucket, in the same mix. We were an outsourced IT setup. And the technology that we would integrate would become the company Echo Pass, which was really a cloud-based offering way ahead of its time. Back then, every CIO and every company was setting up an IT kingdom with a moat and a drawbridge and knights and turrets. There was how much technology and how much resources and how much it was built. You were building your IT kingdom because IT was going to be the next big advantage. So when Keith Barr and Art Coombs and the guys from Echo Pass showed up saying, hey, you don't need to build all that infrastructure, have a big IT team. We can run the whole thing from here. Everyone said, get out. They got $30 million from California it was a huge startup story, and nobody wanted it. They built something that was 10 years ahead of its time. And then the company went through, no one was buying it, right? Because I would lose 2/3 of my staff. I wouldn't need to buy, I would lose all of my, I couldn't have my buying power. Why would I? Now that's the model the whole world's embracing. Let somebody else host it. Let somebody else do it. I remember standing in the Echo Pass knob. I felt like it was the windows. They had that foggy thing. It was the first time in my life I think where you could turn the switch on and the whole thing fogged up. You turn the switch off and you could see it not in the operations center. And there was guys in there, it was like the bridge of the Enterprise. They were just buttons. They were watching things all over the world, you know. It was just real time. It was the coolest thing. So great to see you. And then the folks from Mayo were here. I've been to Mayo a couple times. And I went back and changed my slides because you can see you guys here with your team. Thanks for bringing your team and thanks you guys for coming. I've got to tell them a story that I picked up from you guys that I told them. I said, I've used this story over 200 times. Because walking through those days I spent with you, this story changed me. It affected me. It infected me. It changed the way, it helped me see the world in a better way. And I want to share that story today. So I'm very excited to be with you. May I ask you to reach over, please, and pick up your 2 corks. So I tried to do corks on the table. If I miss a table, please let me know. You need 2 corks each. Be confident. Do it with confidence. Don't like, no, do it with confidence. Chapter officer. Okay. All right. Pull it out. Stand tall. Put it back. Do that 2 or 3 times until it's just a nice, smooth motion. Now, some of you might be tempted to use your index finger. And that's fine. But if you want to show off a little bit, use every finger. Just check your dexterity. See how things are working. I'm 49. Things are not working as well as they used to. I can still do it. Then, when you feel confident, then switch hands, go left and right, do the same thing. Tuck it right back in there between your forefinger and your thumb. Forefinger and your thumb, you should go that way. Try not to hook your thumbs. Hold your palms flat. It's actually a little bit easier. So is everyone pretty confident? I didn't see a single cork drop. I'm not hearing anything. No one's bending over to pick up something. So I'm thinking you guys are ready to go to the next level. Yes? Are you ready to the next level?
Yeah.
You ready? Okay, relax. All right. So the next level, this is called the simultaneous cork exchange. And I know that sounds complicated. It sounds risky. It sounds, you probably felt a little flutter, fear, intimidation. You wonder right now, you're questioning, do I have what it takes? Do I look like a stupid person at my table? Right? Weird strings are playing. But I'm telling you, you can do this. We can get this done. And I'm professional with these things. I move about 14,000 corks a year, and I can get you where you need to go. You trust me? Okay. Trust me now. Put your hands down. I will demonstrate the simultaneous cork exchange, and then we will execute it as a team, as one. It's going to feel good. Lynn's, it going to feel good? It's going to feel great. It's going to feel like magic. Here we go. Okay, I want to be loose. If you're shaking your hand, you're not paying attention. So, okay, here we go. Right to left. Left to right. And then, simultaneous reach over. I've got both corks at the exact same time. Just pop my mouth. I know it doesn't look like this, but I promise you it feels really good. Let's do it together. Come on. Okay, shake it out. You guys seem underwhelmed. Shake it out. Okay, right to left. Back. Left to right. Are you breathing? Okay. Simultaneous reach over. Grab both at the same time. You just plump right up. I don't want to call out names, Tim, but here's what I saw a couple of you do. A couple of you were like this, like. Some of you are right here. So would you like me to do it again a little slower now? Yeah. Because there's obviously a trick to it, okay? Now some of you, I expect some of you, that I've done this with before, I expect you to kind of remember. Okay. Okay, so let's do it again. So we'll slow it down a little bit, because now I'm going to understand there's a little bit of trick to it, okay? Now we're paying a little more close attention. Yo, one's back to one. Okay, right to left. Left to right. Now super slow motion. There's no palming. Nothing up the sleeve. We just reach over. We've got both corks firmly by the ends. Boom. Top of my thumb. Okay, give it a try. Go quick experiment for me. A couple of my mind readers are right there with me. You good? Okay. How many of you are still kind of right here? Kind of right here. Okay. I'd like this to represent something. I'm going to invite you to consider that this represents something for our time together today. The entire 4 hours, from 1 o'clock till 5, we went till 5. I'd like this to represent the way things are. And things are, heck, they are what they are. They're good, they're bad, they're whatever they are. Things are. But would you agree with this statement? We rarely move past the limits of our own personal thinking and beliefs. Would you agree with that statement? We're kind of the sum total of our thoughts and beliefs. We do what we do because of what we believe. The results will be or won't be. We make an effort or we don't, based on what's happening in here. Okay? If I don't believe there's any more potential in our relationship, I'm not going to treat our relationship as having more potential. And guess what? We're going to realize no potential. On the other hand, if I believe that you have unlimited potential in our relationship to go to the next level, I might be willing to let go of some of my beliefs and opinions about you, make some slight adjustments, and find myself and us in a brand new place. But there's things I'm holding on to, or they're holding on to me that might be holding me back. And I'm going to let go of those things, make some slight adjustments. I'm not talking about letting go of your virtues or your values, those things you hold sacred and dear. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about lesser things. Grudges, insecurities, beliefs, prejudices, those things. And making some slight adjustments. So let's solve this together, shall we? I'm going to ask you to put your corks in your hands, happy face up. So as you look at your knuckles, you see two happy faces. And that causes you, Lynn, to feel what?
Great.
Great. No, happy is not. Look for the word happy. I'm calling on you again. All right. Then the best way I know to execute this is to invite you to put your left hand against your tummy, thumb toward your chin. Perfect. Right hand against your forehead, knuckles against your forehead, thumb down. This is my favorite part because I find that people don't know left and right when I do this. All right. Now we're going to let our hands kind of fall together until our palms are touching. Perfect. Perfect. Now slide your hands up until thumbprints are touching. So it's thumb to thumb. Your thumbs in the middle. Perfect. See how you've kind of created a yin-yang here? You've kind of created an opposite. Perfect balance, right? Yin-yang. Right? Thumbprint, thumbprint. Now we're going to slowly slide our thumbprints down until both thumbprints are pressing firmly on the iPhone 5, new software updated. Sorry about that. Biometric. So both thumbprints are pressing on the blank end of the corpse. I don't know how you screwed this up. I'm going to come work with you individually. Both thumbprints on the ends of the corpse, the blank end. So both thumbprints are pressing firmly on the blank ends of the corpse at the same time. Got it? Now middle fingers come around and grab that happy face and squeeze and. You were so close, and then the last one. Can I touch your hand? Put that thumb there. Half thumb there. And then your right leg. Grab it. When you grab that. Got it?
Really?
We'll take that at our time. Yeah.
All right, now, here's, when this happened, not this, but when this happened, there was a sound, a quiet sound, almost reverent that happened around the room. What was the sound? What might the sound represent? You said got it? What else might it say? Give me words. What does the sound represent? Maybe.
It can be done.
It can be done.
Satisfaction.
A possibility, satisfaction. What else? Success. Learning, epiphany. The aha moment. Now I see. Now I see how to do it. Some of you already knew how to do it. Some of you have done it with me before, or you just knew how to do it because of other experiences you had. You knew how to do it. What was those of you that knew how to do it, and you saw the person next to you struggling a little bit, what was your natural inclination? To laugh. No, to help. To help. It was to help. It was to help. How many of you had someone just lean over and didn't help you? You didn't even ask. Some know-it-all next to you want to let you know they do. I'm just teasing, right? How many of you felt the help but waited to be asked? Because you understand the importance of discovery. So there's all kinds of moments there. Here's another question. With that aha moment, with that moment of aha or learning or insight or now I see, what happened to your personal energy? Did it go up or down? How high did it go? And I don't know how you measure those things.
Just a little bit. I've had a lot of care.
A lot of caffeine. Caffeine was hard for me to really put a number. But with learning, with discovery, comes what? Energy. Or we could call it motivation. Personal growth is an essential element. This morning, Johan talked about, and Darren, they talked about that egg, and they said that egg is assets. And research tells us overwhelmingly that people that aren't growing quickly become disengaged in their own lives. Now, Gallup helps us measure engagement in the workplace. But what about the living place? When we stop growing, we stop becoming, we settle. We settle. We settle. No one wakes up and says, I think I'll be less today. But if you're not choosing to determine and deliberate about becoming more, becoming less can happen by default. Does that make sense? One of the most important things that I learned in my growing up, and I would say by growing up, I guess that's your whole life. One of the things that was really spelled out to me happened after my ranger training, happened after my 2 years of mission service, happened after my collegiate training. It happened when I was in this world. We're going to create 1,000 IT jobs in the next 2 years, and my boss said, Kirk, you need to read more books with less pictures. Now, I've always known it was important to grow, but there was a moment when it just became really, really clear to me, undeniably clear. And that clarity changed me. I got it. And now I work hard to never let go of it. Never let go of your personal growth. My wife says it this way. My wife says she was reading one day in a book and she really clicked for her. She came and she said, I am no longer a human being, she announced. Oh, you fixed a name check, you were too good to be true. I was having an X-Files moment, just knew it. The alien was about to come out of the closet. And she said, I've given up the state of being for the state of becoming. I am a human becoming. And then she taught me and the kids really what we call the principle of lifelong learning is important. I think about being here today, and I think about what you've said, Johan, and what you said, Gina and Tina. And you got involved in this chapter and have been officers. Some of you have been officers for 5 and 6 years. Sometimes we come to these meetings and we go back to meetings and our coworkers are, so how was it? Did you get anything? I think it's the wrong question. How was me? Did you get anything? And I see these people who have been involved with HGI like it's a religion. And it's not because they get, it's because they give. And every time we seek to give, what do we get? Satisfaction. We get, it's called the law of magnified returns. Right? If you really want to learn something, then you need to teach it. We learn more when we try to teach what we think we know, or what we've come to know so far, don't we? It's the same thing with giving. You want to magnify your receiving, magnify your what? Your giving, your serving. And watch what happens. And we've all had an experience with this. We might not think about it. If we think about it, we go, wow, that's true. There's something that happens. In my opinion, this is my opinion, I think the story that Johan Stossel told that day when he gave his first presentation at HBI, I think that should be a mandatory class. Because it was a story of a leader in a teachable place. And a team in a demoralized place. And lives that would change forever. Of a person that Johan will tell you he had dark fantasies about killing, taking out, or at least firing for a couple years. But when that kid finally got it and the lights went on, it's one of the most rewarding aspects of leadership. Because I'm sure that kid would use different language, but he would say essentially, Johan flipped my switch. He reached me. And when this kid was reached, and he had this dawning realization of what he was, what he could become, and what he'd been given by a leader who cared, he became an unstoppable force, filled with gratitude. I just think the story is too powerful. I just think it's been too many years to be heard. And I think we can't hear those stories enough. When you talk about that switch, this is the book. Anyone read this book? Couple? Good book, Lynn?
Great.
Great book? Good, don't. See, there's great again. I mean, don't. You might be tossing that word around. I'm going to back up your names.
It's a happy book, all right.
Andrew?
Andrea.
Andrea, can you give us, what's this, I mean, it's on a test.
It's been a long time.
Okay. Tell me this, 1 to 10.
Oh, 10.
Sorry. Whoa, don't, that came out too quick. 1 to 10. 8.5. summary, you guys fill me in if I just want to, the briefest, they give this wonderfully simple metaphor, and I'm into simple, and I'm into metaphors. Right? The wonderfully simple metaphor is this. It's about how do we change people's behavior, individually or organization or worldwide. How do we do that? It's been done. What was it? What were the hinge points? What were the lever points that got people to see things differently and change? Because wouldn't you agree that'd be a kind of cool thing to understand a little bit deeper? I think the better I can understand that, because I'm supposed to be the leader, an agent of change. I'm supposed to serve people to help them see more clearly how they can become more, essentially, right? And do more and accomplish more and accomplish. Yes? I want people to be successful. I want them to grow up. And one of the most frustrating aspects of leadership is seeing people perform at below their potential, seeing them not grow. One of the most rewarding aspects of leadership is seeing people rise and become. Would you agree? It feels good when it happens personally. Somehow it feels even better when you see somebody get it. Doesn't it? How many people love to see other people grow? And you wouldn't be here if you weren't a happy person. Because, well, you just wouldn't. So the metaphor is simply this. They give us an elephant, a rider, and a path. Because the elephant's walking somewhere. It's in some type of environment. It's going somewhere. So the elephant represents our emotional self. And our emotional self is hungry for a donut. Right? The elephant wants a donut. The rider, on the other hand, says, hey, I probably shouldn't eat so much sugar and lard. Right? So the elephant is our intellectual self. So it knows, right, but sometimes it's slave to the beast within us who says, no one should handle lemons. And see another bowl is empty. Right? Don't you? Anyone done this? Okay. And then there's the path. If you're trying to stop eating M&Ms and donuts, don't go to Dunkin', right? Don't go to the Hershey store. Go to the M&M store. Right? So, that's the very simple metaphor. People's decisions are shaped by their environment, their intellect, and their emotions. So how do we give the rider more success in directing the elephant away from the donut shop? Right? That kind of thing. Now, very simple metaphor. What's brilliant about these authors is they load this book up with example. This is not a cover-to-cover book. I mean, you can sort of read cover-to-cover, but it's loaded with just examples after examples after examples that are research-based. So it's kind of left brain presented in a right brain way that I can just eat like candy. Let me give you an example. So on the table now, you've been asked if you'll participate in the experiment, table 1 and table 2. The same experiment. We ask you to come down to our location tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. We ask you not to have breakfast or lunch before you come. We'd like you to come hungry. We don't tell you why, but you agree to participate in our little experiment. Group number 1, you come in the room. You surround a table. At the center of the table is 2 big bowls, like the ones we had that we dropped the eggs in, but one bowl is filled with radishes that have been cleaned and are ready to eat. The other bowl is filled with, they walk in with it actually, steaming hot, fresh chocolate chip cookies like your mother used to make. And they say to group 1, hey, we'd like you for the next 20 minutes to have as many radishes as you want, but don't eat the cookies. Group 2, same scenario except this. We'd like to have as many chocolate chip cookies as you want, but please don't eat the radishes. We'll be watching from the one-way mirror. We'll go back around the glass. Now, they don't really give a crap about how many radishes or cookies each group eats. That's not the reason for the experiment, but you don't know. 20 minutes later, no one in the group has had any cookies, so they're not happy about it. The group that hasn't had any cookies also hasn't had any radishes. Nobody in that group likes them. The other group, on the other hand, hasn't touched any radishes, and the cookies are gone. There's little chocolate marks on the crumbs everywhere, just snarf dogs. Okay? Then they say, thank you so much. And everyone's like, really? That was the same? Hey, as long as you're here, would you mind just helping us out with one more quick experiment? Both groups agree. Both groups come into a room. Both groups are given the exact same unsolvable problem. Little paper problem. You got to kind of retrace it without covering it and retrace it. It's impossible to solve. It's not possible to solve it. They're not told that. And the researchers leave the room again. What they really want to see is, Will one group try to solve the puzzle longer than the other group? Will one group give up before the other group? And every time they run this experiment, one group quit trying to solve the puzzle many minutes before the other group. So the question is, which group quit first and why? Let's get a couple answers. Melanie, which group do you think, oh, you had, go ahead. The cookie eaters quit first because they've been satisfied. I got my cookies. Heck with this. Okay. Do I have a different view?
I would think that it would be people who didn't eat cookies
You would think the people that didn't eat the cookies
would give up.
would give up because they're just...
They didn't get what they wanted. The negative
I don't get cookies, I'm not solving this.
No,
Okay.
no.
Anyone else want to offer a thought?
They didn't want to eat any more radishes.
They don't want any more radishes? Okay. Well, and this is just one, this is like 2 pages of this book. Just this example of this very real study. So, well, you would be right. The group that quit first was the group who couldn't eat the cookies and was offered radishes, but didn't want the radishes. Why they quit is the point of the research. Why they quit. And the reason they quit wasn't because they were angry. It was because they were exhausted. How hard is it not to eat radishes? What kind of exhaustion are we talking about? An exhaustion of willpower. What they were trying to determine was, is willpower an exhaustible resource? And that was one example, and they had many. And every bit of research they lined up seemed to substantiate their thesis that willpower is an exhaustible resource. But we know this, don't we? Do you know when your willpower is down? Are you more likely to lose it at the beginning or the middle or the end of the day? Yeah. They make this point and go on to say that sometimes what looks like apathy or lack of motivation is, what looks like resistance is often a lack of clarity. What looks like a lack of motivation is often exhaustion. People are exhausted. You got a frustrating situation at work. People are exercising all their willpower not to blow up at it. They're exhausting their reservoir. And some people have more than others. But again, I love it because sometimes you look at people and go, God, they're not motivated. Well, maybe they're just what? Exhausted. Exhausted. Reminds me of the Harvard Business Review published something a couple years ago that I've always loved. It said they studied motivation between someone on the first day, and then they kind of followed a group of people with the same measure over the course of the year. What they determined was this: 1.2 million people, I think, involved in this study. It was a very big sample. And one of the outcomes of the study was they determined that in 85% of the cases, 85% of the person's initial motivational content or motivation was gone within the first 6 months on the job. Where did it go? But more important than that, why did it go? Where did it go? Why did it go? How would you answer that? What happened to someone's motivation? They're all excited about their new job. What did they bump into along the way? They bump into what? She said you always hunt that way, but you're saying something else. Go up when you're thinking. So you're right, but that's a reflective behavior. Go to the root of the problem. What do they bump into? They bump into the culture. The people bump into the culture. They're excited. They want to be valued. They want to make a contribution. They want to, right? They want to add the momentum, and they find out that no one really wants that momentum. People want them to. People despise their enthusiasm because it reminds us of something they gave up. All kinds of things happen. If you're all excited, you must be the new guy. Don't wear that guy down. Welcome to the team. It's called co-hazing, but it happens all the time. We mask it with laughter, but isn't that the essence of it? Yeah, that's the spirit of it. It's wrong. Well, what can we do about this? Do we do anything about it? The answer is there's lots we can do. And I'd like to leave you 2 or 3 insights of things that you can do right now. And I'd like to share them with you in the context of the story. Or a couple stories. So here's Lucy. How is he? Some of you are so young, you've never even watched it. Who's never watched a Peanuts cartoon? Go ahead and confess. It's okay, I'm sorry. Oh, they just passed Snoopy in the airport. Forgive me. Oh, lost track of my geography. Yeah, you can't live here now, right?
It's a citizenship.
It's a citizenship requirement. Before you issue your driver's license, please name 5 characters from your Phoenix Star General. All right, so what's Lucy's attitude most of the time? Yeah, she's the grumpy coworker, isn't she? She's cynical, she's sarcastic, it's never going to work. She's not above sabotaging you, pulling the ball out from under your foot. Did anyone work with a Lucy? What's happening here, though? And how does Lucy feel about Snoopy most of the time? When Snoopy gives her a little lick, what does she do? How you doing? Right? But what's happening here with Lucy? Is it happening? That was always in her. And she wants things. It's in a lot of those burned out negative coworkers we've got too. We've got to bring it back to the surface. Yo, home with your rescue dog, your rescue dogs, and your rescue parrot. We're going to rescue this cat. Oops. I said the wrong thing, didn't I? He wants to fight me, Yola. Doesn't love me. Yeah, I think it's frozen. I know that with love you can fix it. Is it plugged in? Set. I think it was just muted.
Till lunch, then coldly indifferent after. To me, everything was just, yeah. Then it hit me. Why be so cat? Why not be a bit more dog? I mean, look at the world today. It's amazing. Running, amazing. Chasing cars, amazing. Sticks, amazing. Carpe diem. It means grab the frisbee. Maybe you should all be a bit more dog. Be more dog.
Oh, how many of you have seen that commercial before? Really? How many people like the commercial? Downloadable, it's free, it's YouTube, it's yours. Okay. Now, as a leader, what if you busted that commercial out at the beginning of your next staff meeting? Would anyone be surprised? Think about your typical staff meeting, which is good, you kind of rally with your comrades, you can go through the day with, right? But also, this is your typical weekly staff meeting, but this time you're like, I just want to talk to you guys about something, and you roll out this commercial. What are they all going to do? They're going to think, well, they already probably think you're nuts. Okay, so there's risk is low. What are they like? Yeah, what are they likely to do? Does anyone want to walk out offended? How many of them are going to smile? Laugh? Appreciate a little bit of levity? Thanks for surprising me. I mean, can anyone really imagine that negative of a consequence? But what if in addition to showing this commercial and creating a little bit of positive energy, what if in addition you actually tied it to something that you wanted to talk about or to encourage the team with? What if you just gave them just a little bit of surprise with a little bit of a message? Maybe, perhaps, just maybe, a little bit of aha. What if? What if you told a story that says, you know what? I wasn't thinking about you guys, but I was thinking about me, and when I watched this commercial, I thought, sometimes I'm a little bit like that cat. It's the same frisbee, you know, there's so disappointed with the thing they did. But I don't make my personal growth so difficult to discover that it doesn't inspire others. The transference of principles from the work context to the life context, I know and believe, because of my experience, that Johan could fill an hour of meaningful training talking about lessons learned in caring for rescue animals, and bridge that to lessons needed to be learned so we can have a more effective team and culture, or better customer service. I believe you could too. I know some of you do. And some of you know that my wife Rebecca and I are expecting number 6. I'm not the father, but we're due at the end of January. So if you come to National Conference, I'm trying to convince her to come. That'll be in March. We'll have a newborn there. And I said, no, the National Conference in March is in the Gaylord, isn't it?
April, yeah. Yeah, that one started there, right?
Brooklyn was conceived at the Gaylord. We call her our HDI baby. Help with the housekeeping. More than you want to know? You really kind of cross the bridge, you really connect. We talked about fertility and service levels. All right, do we need help? Here's the numbers. Some of you know these numbers, but I want to share with you a different possibility of how we might use these numbers. Gallup has been doing engagement survey. How many of you do Gallup engagement indexing in your companies? You do a Gallup, use the Gallup tool, okay, just a couple. All right, it seems to be kind of regional. It seems to be happening more in the West, some in the East, not much in the Mid. Gallup has been kind of measuring employee engagement. The 2 books that you might want to kind of glance at, or at least get an audio copy and listen to them on the way to and from work over the next few weeks, that talk a little bit more about this would be First Break All the Rules, What Great Leaders Do Differently, as well as the Strengths Finder. There's like Strengths Finder 2.0 now, but basically both these books reference this Gallup index, these 12 questions. I'll show you those in a second. But Gallup says that engagement in the American workforce is lower than it's ever been, with 17% of the American workforce actively disengaged. That means these employees are so unhappy they're working against us. They're not just like, well, whatever. They're like, hey, let's install some viruses on the server. I don't know what they're doing awful things, okay? And there's a real number that they try to associate with this, 13,000 per employee in productivity losses because of their saboteur, negative, work against you kind of thing. They actually like to see things fail, I guess. But that's not bad. They say it gets worse. The majority of workers, 54%. So that means cut through in half, 54% of us fall in the not engaged category. Not engaged workers are defined as checked out, putting time but not energy or passion into their work. That's half of us. That's half of your coworkers, unless you somehow are outside of this norm. I hope that you are. So that leaves what? 29% of workers estimated to be truly engaged. Work defined as workers who work with a passion and have a sense of connection to their company or their cause. I just read a little bit of research that came out of, where did I read this? I read it in an online class. A couple professors at BYU have been doing research, and they talked about what happens with engagement and your white blood cell count if you're really connected to the cause of your company. So if you really have some meaningful connection with a vision, the mission, the values, if there's some, and you really feel it, you really know it, there's something that happens to your productivity and your willingness to engage, and really good stuff happens. But how do we create that? Let me give you one way that you can create that. One way that you can create that is to measure yourself against it and say, am I really connected to the cause of my company? Now, if you work at the Mayo Clinic, I guess you could argue, you know, we're 7 layers removed, but what we do supports people that are saving and changing lives. Pretty worthy mission. 1-800-Flowers? I don't know, right? Cargill? Best Buy? I don't know. I know in our company, Cento, I know that I wasn't really excited about what we did. I'll be honest. We did outsource support for Gateway, Hewlett-Packard, Novell. Those were some of the clients. Network Associates. We did outsource. In other words, we were the lowest bidder that could provide the highest level of service. they could feel worthy of engagement. They didn't feel super valued. On the other hand, for a couple of years there, I didn't set my alarm clock. I woke up early, my brain alive, my excitement very real, my passion engaged. Why? I was massively head over heels in love with our people. We had mostly college-age kids. They wanted to do well. They wanted to grow up and be well. They hadn't been mentored, most of them. They grew up in a latchkey environment. They were very interested in being led and learning about leadership. They wanted to do well. I loved them. Because I love them, a lot of them liked me back. They wanted to do well. And that was easy for me to get excited about. So whatever it might be, it needs to be something. The day is come and gone where we can sit back and go, yeah, my company, nah. If you can't find it within yourself, then do us a favor. Please go find something you can do because you're affecting and infecting the rest of us as well. Now here's the research. Here's how I might use it if I was you at my next team meeting after I showed the cat becoming the dog. I might show this research. A lot of times organizations are so scared of it. It's like, oh crap, that sounds like us. What are we going to do? Well, don't let it sound like you. Change it. And here's one way you might change it. We shared these numbers with our people openly. And it went something like this. Well, there's the numbers. I read through them. But they were up there for all of us to read. And I said, I want you to imagine for a moment. Imagine this is my team, so imagine you're with your team. I want you to imagine for a moment everyone you work with on a daily basis. I want you to create a list in your mind from most to least engaged. Everyone got it? My next slide was a slide of Survivor. I said, okay, great, we get to vote somebody off the island. Everyone's got their eyes closed, but everyone starts smiling. Because everyone already what? They know! There's one person not smiling, what do they know? And I haven't got you. I know, what? Right? I never let anybody point at everybody. I never let everybody point at somebody. That's not my point. My point is to create a moment of reflection. Because reflection is relative to revelation. We want to create an aha moment here. Self-reflection. Revelation. So, okay, does everyone know? Yeah, has everyone got it? Great. Okay, we're not going to boast off the island today. Let's flip the question a little bit. Part 2. Say something like this. Okay, set aside the list you just made. I want you to imagine another list. One that you didn't create, but one that your name is on. It's been created by your coworkers. Now I want you to imagine where you think your name is on the list of your peers based on these 2 criteria. The number of cynical and sarcastic comments you made last week, and the number of times your face may have done something like this. Based on those 2 criteria, where do you think your name is on your coworkers' list? People are looking at the floor now. God, that's not cool. You know? People are looking down and going, sarcasm? Sarcasm? Right? But they're measuring what? Themselves. And that's where the magic is. And say, listen, if your name is not as high on the list or you're a little uncomfortable with this exercise, celebrate that. Because you're being honest with yourself. Because the only person that can change your placement on that list is you. And I usually just kind of say it, hesitate, and they say you. In other words, they're making the decision. They're embracing the truth. They're considering letting go of. And then I offer them something that can help them make that change. Something maybe easy to adopt right now. Don't let go of something that might be holding back. Does that make sense? Create reflection, introspection, let them arrive at their own aha moment and make a change if they choose to change. I guess I took the slide out called the Gallup Q12. Those of you taking notes, just write down the Gallup Q12. If you Google Gallup Q12, it gives you the 12 questions Gallup asked that they say are the best determinants of whether engagement can realize its fullest potential. Gallup Q12. But don't just read the questions. I want you to consider the questions, and I'll also just offer you this bit of insight. Take the questions, and again, a lot 3 signs of a visible job. The first is anonymity, the second sign is irrelevance, the third sign is something called measurement. This is from Patrick Lencioni. Most of you, if you're familiar with Patrick Lencioni, you're familiar with his best-selling book, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. Anyone? 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, raise your hands really high, please. That's a great book for your short list. An allegory, easy read, kind of a Harvard Business summary in the back, so if you don't want to read it, just want to read 20 pages, everything summarized in the back. Very actionable stuff, very good stuff. He writes a lot of books. His latest book is called The Competitive Advantage or something like that. It's about culture. It's just a culture book. First, anonymity. The feeling an employee gets when they realize their manager is little interested in them as a human being. They don't know about their lives, their aspirations, their business. Johan, I loved it when you went around to the groups today and said, okay, you got the task done, there was not an egg broken. How many of you know and can name them, right? Sometimes we get caught up in the task, we let go of the relationships that need to be not just discovered, but nurtured. Agreed? We're really good at, a team building retreat, but how are we at nurturing teams? I'm going to give you a model that I learned at the Swans in just a second. Best teams do. I like to, you guys have your passions. My passion over the past 14 years has been studying company cultures, working with company and teams on team cultures. So when we talk about team building, innovation, customer service, morale, language, negativity, motivation, I see all those things in my mind are fruits on a tree. Right? Those are outcomes. Healthy culture produces healthy fruit. So we can look at the roots of the issue. So we're going to look at some root stuff here in a second. So that's what I like to look at. That's what I like to read about. That's what I like to talk. That's what I like to look for. The things that influence it when I visit companies like yours. So Swans, here you guys are in the spotlight. Where you've been in my slide deck ever since I've been in your shop. And I understand things have changed there. I get that. I got some emails actually from some people when things began to change back to the way they were. And I don't know how things are now, and I don't understand the judgment. But I do want to celebrate some success that we've had. Success, quite frankly, that changed me. Because you were doing something there for a time that companies on this list have done overtime. Many companies do some form of what you guys were doing. And they do it with great, great results. And here's what they do. Swans, and I don't know how many years ago this was, Swans, Ellie, Swans didn't have the best, Swans call center didn't have the best reputation. They weren't appreciated, kind of like the help desk, they weren't appreciated. They were seen as a cost center, not something that was really valued. Hence the resources were not extended to people in the call center. There were some young managers there that were attending some of these conferences, getting ideas, but they were getting shut down when they tried to implement some of them or suggest them to senior management. But for a period of time, these three managers were given a go-ahead to try and change some things, do some things. Essentially, they began a cultural revolution at the Swans Call Center in Washington, Minnesota. And they were successful. I met a couple of them at a conference. They asked me if I'd come up and observe what they were doing, offer insights, and spend some time with them. And I did. I can't take credit for anything I'm about to share with you. I made some suggestions, but what happened, what they did, was of their own initiative, their own insight. If anything, I can say I helped tweak one aspect. But it was brilliant. They implemented on a daily basis something they called the Swans Huddle. The Swans Huddle. For 5 to 10 minutes before these agents hit the phones, they would stand in a physical circle and have a team huddle. And during the course of this huddle, they would do 4 things. They would have a motivational moment. They would express recognition and appreciation. They would learn something together. And they would take a moment to connect and learn something about one another. Pretty simple, huh? This is so easy to do, it's easy not to do. It's so easy to think, well, you know what? What would be good at? But I'll tell you, I think it's genius, and here's why. I think it's obvious genius. I think it's common sense. If you and I want to get fit, where are we going to go to get fit? We want to get big. Where are we going to go? We want to strengthen the core, ladies. Where are we going to go to strengthen the core? We're going to go to the gym. Go to some of those classes, right? Where these people with really tight core bodies are going to just make us painfully aware of our core and team building things can have the opposite effect of their intended, right? Wow. What Swans did is said, let's go to the gym for 10 minutes, what? Every day. Let's work on the relationships every day. Let's work on motivation a little bit every day. Let's talk about and express appreciation every day. And somebody might say, well, God, wouldn't that get a little rote? Wouldn't that become a little insincere? And I would say, yeah, it might, if you allow it, you let it. You can go to the gym and stand there, I guess. Or you go to the gym and get on weights. You go to the spin cycle. You go to the gym and get involved. Education for them at the time began with a focus on some tool or corporate focus, something they were trying to work on as a group in their call center. But it evolved when I came back a year later. It evolved. Education then became, it could be something that was very corporate focused around our goals in the call center or our service levels or a tool feature that we weren't using properly or enough. But it evolved. I actually sat in a huddle where some guy who was taking, I think, his pilot's license taught us about the principle of lift on a wing. Why airplane wings were formed like they were and how that created an extra swirl that gave extra lift. I was like, cool, I can fly. And furthermore, I exhort you and invite you to adopt or adapt any portion of this huddle and make it your own. It's the consistency, it's the continuity, but it's also the content. But the content doesn't have to be perfect. Anyone heard those commercials on, you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent? You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect leader. But we just want to be led, we want to be inspired. Your people want the same things that you and I want. We want hope. We want some positive change. We want some encouragement. We want some appreciation. That is what they want. We want something refreshing and surprising occasionally, but not surprising like a big so, right? No. Okay, so education became for them. So here's another brilliant thing that Swans did. Swans then, after they did this for a few weeks, the leaders got a little scared, like, I'm running out of stuff, I'm running out of material. I don't know what to do. And they said, well, let's turn it over to people. So then, anyone on the team might be in charge of the huddle. And that's when it got really good. That's what they told me. Because when you got one of your team members, Freaky Joe, and then you're like, I wonder what he's going to do. He brings in his biker magazine and reads an article out of it. Right? And he's all fired up about it. He's like, wow, who are you getting to know? Freaky Joe. Gospel Gale. I mean, these people have their lives and everything. But what else happens? Look at the genius of this. Who's leading? The culture change. Who's in charge of recognition? Who's learning what it feels like to give and extend it? Who's getting some time in front of folks? And maybe they never want to be in front of folks. They can't imagine. But now they realize this is what we do. And pretty soon when this becomes a cultural norm, now some of you are going, I don't know if I did this next week, they think I was free. You know what? They only think of things about you that are unkind. Your leaders lead. And don't throw it out there like it's a test balloon either, because you'll get shut down so quick. Okay, I'll try this huddle thing. I hope you guys like it. It doesn't suck. There are already things that suck. Right? You suck. Why am I there? Who is this?
Lori,
It's Lori. Where does she work?
Mayo Clinic, in the jail cell cafeteria.
I'm the cafeteria cafe. Yeah, go ahead, because I can tell you, years ago, I don't know how many years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, I was a guest of the Mayo Clinic. They were going to have this big thing in their big auditorium with their IT folks. Scott Kuhn invited me to be a part of it. And I was excited and delighted to come. And the Mayo Clinic is, anyone been to the Mayo Clinic? Big campus. I mean, they're scattered all over because you guys have this Arctic winter thing going on there. I don't know what you do with your ice stuff, but they smartly put underground hallways like you have in your city, underground hallways. So that as the campus is expanding and taking over different buildings, well, one of the buildings they took over is the old county courthouse, which has a jail cell in it, which was the old drum tank. And I guess Scott told me historically they just kept computer stuff behind bars there, but eventually they turned it into the jailhouse cafe. So this is an underground hallway. And I just remember coming out of Scott's building, and we're going to another building in this underground hallway. And for me, the hallway seemed to go on for, I felt like I was in a Men in Black movie or something. There was this hallway, people at the end of the hallway were this tall. And Scott and I were just chatting it up, walking down this hallway of eternity. And as we get closer, I can't quite make out the bars yet from up here. And Scott realizes what's about to happen. And he goes, oh, you're going to like this. I go, like what? He goes, well, you'll see. So I keep walking, and I'm watching people swerve over towards these bars. I mean, not bars. And I hear a little voice, and as I get closer, what's happening is, this is a coffee shop, and people are swerving over the bars to get a cup of Jello. And they're being greeted by this lady, who I'm about to meet. Scott and I are on our way to the auditorium, so we're not going to stop and get coffee or talk with her. But she says, hi, Scott. Hi, Lori. How's it going? Great. Hey, tall person with Scott, what's your name? I kissed your Lord. Yes, I am. Would you like some coffee? I said, no. How about some hot chocolate? Do you have that? I sure do. I'll have it ready when you guys come walking back. Okay. Bye. Bye, Lori. Bye, Bert. 15, 20 minutes later, we're up at the big meeting where everyone's in the auditorium and they do their little thing, and then it's my turn to do my little thing. I get introduced, and I stand up, and I don't really know what to say. I'm like, hey, good to be with you. It's great to be on your campus. I've already met Lori. As I mentioned the name of Lori, something happened in the room. What was it? Applause. No, they were IT people. There was no applause, but there was a physiological reaction. There was that knowing glance from friend to friend. She's a fixture, a feature that they're proud of. You'd have thought she was Scott Kuhn's daughter, the way he talked about it. Or at least his protege. But when I mentioned her name to 200-something IT folks, there was that knowing. You could feel the room change, get a little bit warm. At the mention of her name. Wow. If she can do that, how does she do that, by the way? And I don't know yet, and I don't want to stand in judgment of her. I don't know, but if you were going to guess, if we're going to put on a salary scale, everyone at the Mayo Clinic, from top to bottom, where do you think she would fall on a salary scale? High end or low end? I don't know. Maybe she makes, I don't know, great time. I don't know. But just, if she might have a PhD, but if you were going to guess on the education scale, doctor, high school graduate, which end would you put her closer? Yeah, and I don't want to stand in judgment. That's not my point. Let me ask you this third question. This is where the money is, in my mind. Cultural influence scale. Her ability to influence the way it feels in the workplace. High or low end? You see why this story is affected me? Because it reminds me. It reminds me of what I already know, but I sometimes just don't do. That I and you, we, can make a difference. By something as simple as what? Using people's names with just a little bit of enthusiasm. I want to be like her. Lori these stories, Lord, Swan, these stories exist. They exist in this room. Oh my gosh, it's like a superhero conference. You got Johan here, you got Exec Team Excellence Award, you got Manager, I mean, you guys, there's a lot of talent in this room, and stories that haven't been told. So when you submit your idea, what you think the next meeting should be about, let's share stories. Let's put up a little bit of a framework so we don't just moan on about things, but let's find 5 stories that celebrate the essence of who we are, who we want to become. Okay, one story from my home team, and then I think I need to wrap it up. What time is it, Johan? Am I good? Am I good for time? Okay. A story from the home team. And the reason I'm sharing this story is because at least one person that I'm going to share with you has already adopted and adapted this story, taken it into a medical environment, actually. Not an IT group, but a nursing group. PQ, Pediatric Intensive Care Unit. How'd I do? PQ? Is that what PQ? Okay, so the scenario is that my family, we have a pool in our backyard where we live. And there's this group of young adults, college-age kids, that all go to church together. And for a while there, I had part of my church stewardship was to work with these kids on Sunday and during the week. So sometimes we would host them at our home. During Christmas holiday, a lot of them would come home. So the group would swell. They'd come back from college. So now there's 80s kids, and they want to know if they can have their New Year's Eve party at Brother Weasel's house. So I run this by the family, and the family's like, hey, you bet. So the first year, everything works out great. They all leave about 3 in the morning. And then, this was a couple years ago, New Year's Eve was on a Saturday night. So that means next, it kind of rolls into Sunday. And New Year's doesn't change. Church is at 9 o'clock, right? So I'm like, hey, listen, love to host you guys. Because they leave our home cleaner than they find it. They're great young adults. I mean, they're just a lot of fun. And they include my family and everything. So they're really cool. And I take a big exercise ball, one of those big inflatable exercise balls. I wrap it with about 30 strings of lights and a snap link, and I hoist it up, and we lower it like we're in New York. Because we're in Fayetteville, Georgia, and we're a long ways from New York, but we lower it and count. It's a lot of fun. I said, listen, love to have you guys, just like we did last year, but can we bring it in from 3 a.m. to 1 a.m.? 1:30. Anyway, 3 a.m., they're all out there again, so they're all heading off. And we get up all bleary-eyed, and we're heading off to church. As we point out the driveway, Brooklyn, as I recall, looked back and said, Dad, what's that on our door? We kind of point out, there's stuff on our door. After church, we come back, we go in the garage, and the kids, we all run to the front porch to see what's stuck on our door. And there it is. We've been given something called a heart attack by those who know this activity. So here's the heart attack. That's how I knew what it was. And then my own son Jake was a teenager. He knew about this. This is a cool thing you can do. So he was, again, not surprised that I didn't know, disappointed that I wasn't cool. One of the notes said, we love the Weaslers. One of the notes said, Josh is our 14-year-old, so happy and smiling, your laughter infects those around you. As soon as Josh said, hey, this one has my name on it, what did we all do? We didn't care what his said. What did we want? Where's mine? Because we have such low self-esteem in our family, we never give out compliments. Maybe someone says it, right? Are we the biggest nerds? Right? Like, we know our pictures in the yearbook. How do we what? So now we're all looking fiercely for the heart with our what? Our name. And our compliment. And I had an out-of-body moment there. I had a moment where I was able to, those moments where you can step back and see yourself? I was able to step back, not just to see myself, but I stepped back from being a dad. And I just was an observer for a moment. And I saw my family, I saw my team. My team was all excited. The team was all engaged. And there was joy on our front porch. And I imagined in my mind's eye a couple college-age kids last night sitting in their car with a dome light on and a pair of scissors. Bright little notes on the door. And I imagine out of 80 kids who I thought host them. That we were able to serve a group like this. They were celebrating me, and I want to serve them even more. Isn't that the way it is? How long do you think we left the hearts in the front door? Now they're still there. Your family with such low self-esteem. Well, they were retaped at least once. I think they came down late March. 3 months. 3 months. I took a couple pictures. I put these on my blog. How many of you get my thought for the day? Few of you? We're taking more subscriptions. Very non-commercial, and most everyone here can tell you I don't spell check very often. Or grammar check. I usually am doing them in the morning. I try and do them. I don't do them a month in advance. I just try and do them every day. I wake up and think about. Or sometimes I come across something good today and I prepare for the next day. And I've been doing it now for 14 years. Got thousands of these thought for the days. And today was that great clip. Anyone watch the clip today? That's that commercial that was made in Taiwan about the little boy who was stealing medicine for his mom and got caught. You got to watch it. You know, it's just absolutely makes me want to be better. Anyway, you can pay your bills 30 years in advance. It's not about pay it forward, it's about pay the future. It's amazing, amazing little clip. I blogged about this one day. I said, I tried to describe what I just described to you in a blog post. And I did my best. And I shared the pictures. A few weeks later, I got an email from a sweet lady who worked at a medical institution who was a nurse. And I'm not sure if she got on the list, but she's on the list, and she goes, Kirk, she says, we have a couple shifts. We've got the night shift and the day shift, and we work these 12-hour shifts. And, the day shift complains about the night shift because they say we don't get everything done. And the day shift complains about the night shift because we don't get everything done. So whatever's not done has to be done by the shift that comes. You know how this works, right? And then the shift defender was like, well, we were saving some lives during that moment. Right? We were saving some lives, so we didn't, you know. But she said the cycle of negativity had got to just where it was toxic and awful. And everyone felt they were absolutely right and justified in saying what they did about the next shift. Then this just perpetuates. Do you see the cancer here feeding itself? So she said, inspired by this thing these college kids did for you and your family, I convinced a few members of our nursing staff that we should give the next shift a heart attack. At first they resisted, but finally they were persuaded. And finally, most everyone joined in. And we papered a particular room that we thought they would go in last after we were able to transition everything and get off the floor. We didn't think they'd see it until we were all in. And that was important to us. And then she said, Kurt, it changed everything. It changed everything. In this one act of service. Nobody wanted to be as negative as they were. You ever get caught in the trap of negativity? You don't, you're not going to try to get out. You're like, I just want to, why are we doing? I don't like this. Someone's got to go first. Someone's got to show us the way. And she talked about how when they came in, they were greeted entirely differently. Because that shift had floated all day on their heart attack. And they gave us a heart attack. And then the heart attack spread to the hospital. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But what an easy idea to adapt or adopt. What a great thing that you could do or initiate. You could talk about it during a team hug. Get buy-in and say, in our next meeting next week, I'll have all the materials here. We're gonna prep this thing. We're gonna execute. You can build anticipation towards an activity of simple but profound implications and possibilities. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to share with you 7 slides that I've been sharing for several years. I've been sharing them in a particular context. And I want to back off of that context just a little bit. And I want to put them in the context we're talking about today. I want you to imagine that you now have created a tradition. And those who are taking notes, this is a great word to write down. Traditions and rituals become golden bricks to pave a path to more principle, we harness it, install it into the rituals and traditions of building culture, building teams, building trust. So now, it's established. Your team expects the first few minutes of every staff meeting, you're going to have the teachable moment, or whatever you choose to call it is. The motivational moment, whatever it is. You're going to lead something. You're going to do something. They expect it. Because you've been doing it for the last 7 weeks. They think you've lost your mind, but they kind of like it. They won't admit it right away, but quietly they'll begin to whisper, I really like this, the way we started meeting now. You know, some people that won't tell you for 2 years, but they'll still like it, and they'll need it. Okay? You with me? You feeling it? Am I going too fast? The next 7 slides are going to be a lesson plan. This was 7 slides that were created for a meeting because I wanted to communicate a very simple idea. We had people coming in with a little bit of negative energy, a little bit of a negative attitude, and they were affecting everyone else on the team. They were kind of our Debbie Garwood downers, kind of, right? Are you with me? Anyone? Coworker like this? Family member? Okay. So there's a couple of approaches we can take. You know what? You're bringing us all down. We're tired of it. Suck it up, okay? Be positive. That'll probably fix it, huh? Change your attitude. Snap out of it. That's how I do it with my kids. Snap out of it. Having never snapped out of a bad attitude in my life, I want my kids to do it. Snap out of it. Right? But instead, what if we can invite reflection and consideration, self-evaluation? What if we can invite people to consider their attitudes? Right? So these 7 slides are the model. Okay? And matter of fact, I'll give these to you, Gina, and you can post them on your website so people can download the videos and the slides if they want. So that you can maybe this could be the beginning of your lesson plan. We now have organizations, by the way, we now have organizations in Canada and America that I've been working with, that I'm asking them to document and categorize their lesson plans. They're now building lesson plans that are value-driven. So build a lesson plan that supports a value, and then once you create a good lesson plan that you've used effectively in a team meeting, talk about it in a brief paragraph, nothing. I don't want this to be a big essay, right? And then put it in, what's the good tool you guys use? SharePoint? Is that it? SharePoint? Put it in a SharePoint folder with that name on it. And pretty soon you'll have 100 lesson plans in there, and you'll be covered. You'll have the best lesson plans from the best teams. And then you can use theirs and make it, how cool is that? You don't have to create all these, but this is the one I created. And I want you to know it took me 20 minutes to create this. I typed in contagious, Google image, graphic, cut and paste. Am I good? Huh? You think you might be pretty good. Embedded video I downloaded from YouTube.
How's it going, Frank?
How's it going, Frank?
See contagious in here? Uncalled for. That guy's good with a teamwork poster. Go team, boom. All right, so you show this at your team meeting. What is your team doing? They're laughing. They're like, what is laughing? Help with barriers? We want to get the barriers. They're not going to all go away. We want to always work on lower the barriers because the more we lower the barriers, the greater chance we have to make a real connection. Get the barriers down. Walls of Jericho, probably not. They're not going to go away. But get the barriers down a little bit, greater chance to make those connections. Connect heart to heart, show the message, get people open. Okay? They don't feel threatened, judged. Okay? Then I move right into a little bit of doctrine, a little bit of teaching. I go, hey, dictionary.com, screen capture, cut, and crop. Okay? Cut, paste, and crop. That's what I'm going to say. So this, because I didn't have the time to type in tending to spread. I didn't have that kind of time. Right? I'm too lazy, so I did it. Screen capture, cut, paste, and crop. Boom. Now, I don't want my team to read every word of this, so I focused them on tending to spread from person to person. I said, I want to talk to you about being contagious. I want to ask you a question. Do you and I tend to spread? And they were like, what? They were still laughing from the video. What they said? Yeah, I do spread. And I said, well, are you catching? Yeah, I do so. Well, what do you tend to spread? I came to a question, right? What do you tend to spread? Then I said, if I caught what you had on a given day, would it be a good thing? Because some people, let's be honest, some people like catching a cold or the flu. Not just the flu, but the swine flu. Right? If I caught what you had, I think synonym for contagious is infectious. I went to my second definition, infectiousness factor. Now, there's a lot here about the Center for Disease Control. I want to kind of stay away from venereal diseases. I want to kind of focus down here. Contagious laughter ran through the hall. Infectious suggests the pleasantly irresistible. Notice how this is a positive context of the definition. The pleasantly irresistible quality of something. Her infectious good humor made her a popular guest. I added coworker or friend. I said, I want to invite us as a team to consider our effect on each other. Our effect on one another. Our effect on the teams around us. If you agree with me that this is a true principle, that our energy does affect people, and we just all agree that that's true, then we've got to ask ourselves, what kind of effect are we having on the people around us? And how can it be more positive? How can it be more powerful? My vision is that I would love if we could share the vision that anyone who walks away from our team walks away with more, not less. Not trying to recover from some type of a cold interaction or a negative comment or even a roll of the eyes. I know people. I think about David over in accounting. I mean, accounting? I mean, I don't even expect much there, but when I walk away from David, I always walk away with a skip in my step. And the team nods because they all know David. The team nods because they all know Lori. And if Lori can do that and David can do that, then doggone it, as a team, we can do it too. Who's with me? Who wants to take the oath? I want you to consider your answer. Because we don't need to be contagious. We already are. We need to be determined, deliberate, and decided that we're going to be positively contagious. No matter who, no matter what. Like the guy in this video.
Look out. Get things going here, man. Come on. Pick up the pace a little. You know the way. You know the way to do it. Yeah, just like that. Now, just like that. You keep it up. Come on, get let's hustle, baby. Come on, that's the way, man. Yeah. Come on, yeah. Way to go, man. Let's rock and roll.
Now let's go back to those 7 slides. I want to make sure you get this, those of you who want it. There's something in teaching sometimes we call the golden circle. Do you see how the slideshow kind of circle back on itself? Video, matches video, and then video match, or matches video again. You see that? Video, big, 2 videos. You see how it becomes kind of a little circle? Right? So we're really talking about one thing. But did you see how it also ended on a positive note? We can also, some teams have talked about, there's 3 real characters in this last video. There's the bagger man, there's Gail, and there's the customers. So now you can even build on, what we do here affects our customers all the time. They feel our culture through the phone, don't they? They feel our culture through our email, don't they? Yeah, they're feeling us. And how we feel is how we are. If we want to feel better, we need to be better. I know we can. I know we can pick that up. Whatever it might be. What do you think about Gail in the clip? I used to think, I love Baggerman more than Gail. But now I'm kind of of the persuasion that I love Gail. Can I tell you why I love Gail? No, tell me, why do I love Gail? Say that again? Oh, black belt answer. Because Gail was willing to change. She was willing to be influenced. Gail was willing to say, you know what am I doing here? I can be more dog. I can be more dog. Gail was willing to say, you know what? Yeah. Because she started giving that go to hell look. I've had groups that I shared that would say, share that one more time. It made them feel so good, they want to see it again. How cool is that? Okay, so you see the genius of those 7 slides? Now there's no genius there, it's just common sense, right? But what's my main point here? It's not to say, hey, look at the 7 slides I built. It's to do what? Saying what? You can't do it, what? Yeah, then in 10 to 15 minutes, you could build a little lesson plan. It illustrates a very singular principle, integrate some of the media, really speak to the people with shorter attention spans than ever before. That's what YouTube is for. Have a little refreshing break that invites a little reflection, so without judgment or condemnation or condescension, you can invite people to consideration, and maybe they'll have a little revelation about how and what they can let go of and do 50%. How many of you actually bought it online while I was talking about it? Anyone buy it online? Anyone put it on your wish list? Your wish list? Okay. Many people actually buy it. Now, this book is not my book. I'm not selling this book. That's not my point. My point is much bigger than that. Those of you taking notes, mental or on paper, write this down. Show and tell beats tell every time. If I was to sit here and say, you know, a big book you guys should read is, 4 of you, maybe 5, would get the book. How many of the 5 people at least need to read the book? So why did 50% of you decide to read the book? What was it about what I said and how I said it that made the difference for you? This is important. You need 5 responses. You say why you did it. What were your thoughts at the time? Do you remember?
Cool.
I'm sorry?
Great tool.
Great tool. Great. I'll accept that.
No ideas.
New ideas? New ideas? What else?
Think you're not as hard.
Maybe changes on hard.
No example.
Why now? Why? Because why? Why now that I mentioned this book? Why did 50% of this group say, this is important? Because I see you were back, you were referencing, okay, we're getting close. That's a big part of it. Your name is Scott. Scott says, because I was referencing it, because I had it in my hand, I was referencing it. Keep
No
going.
one believed in it.
You could tell I believed it. Could you tell I believed in it?
Cared enough to bring it.
I'm sorry?
Cared enough to bring
I
it.
cared enough to bring it.
You knew where the pages were.
I knew the pages were.
And you were kind of saying this stuff works and it can work for you too.
Yes.
That's kind of what I got.
Okay, good, no, and that's right.
And we recognize, hey, I can use this.
You're like, wait, I could use that.
I think when I thought about it, I was thinking, why am I doing this? It's because I can take those things and I was thinking about what I could do for my team.
How can I bless my team? Right. So there's that. All these things come together. Think about the 7 slide we showed. Was I positively contagious? Here's an old phrase. This thing goes back 100 years. Enthusiasm is contagious. Enthusiasm for what? I don't know what it matters. Go back and look up the ancient definition, the original definition of the word enthusiasm. It's someone possessed. Enthused. The ancient definition is possessed by the Spirit of God. I don't want to go out evangelical here, but the idea is that someone possessed, enthusiasm, right? There's this passion, there's this contagiousness, and it's undeniable. Was I putting on a show for you guys? Was I faking it? Do I love this book? Could you tell if I was faking it? Most likely. But when it really affected you, when it's really affected you, then it has a greater, far greater ability to affect others. A couple things are important here in closing. Allow yourself to be enthused. Allow yourself. In a world where cynicism is the predominant emotion these days, where it's more popular and more sophisticated to be cynical than it is to be optimistic, when every bit of research says optimism requires more effort and energy and sophistication. Allow yourself to be enthusiastic. Allow yourself to get excited again about life, about growing, about leadership, about your people. Allow yourself. Let it show. Don't make your enthusiasm, your excitement, your belief, and your hope so hard to detect that your people can't see it in you. You catch some degree of it from you. Open yourself up. Be vulnerable. Patrick Lencioni wrote a book about this called The Naked Leader. He's talking about vulnerability, not Las Vegas. That's a joke. There's something about vulnerability and authenticity that resonates deeply. Sometimes we've been hurt, we've been run over, and so we kind of hunker down, we build walls. The biggest walls we need to get down so we can connect better with our team share so many of these same needs. As we seek to meet the needs of others, our own will be naturally what? Magnified way. Johan's probably heard me present for 10 years. I don't think I've ever, in 10 years, ever promoted my blog. I've been criticized for this. But today, I'm going to invite you to sign up for my blog. Or at least visit it. It's at kirkwinkler.com/T4D. You don't have to sign up for it. I just want you to watch the video I posted this morning. A video, quite frankly, I shared with you yesterday, and I immediately watched it and was better for it. It's like 3 minutes long. It's a commercial made in, it has subtitles, a commercial made in Taiwan or somewhere, and it's just brilliantly done, I think. And I twittered it out, and I thought, I don't know. I get 1,000 Twitters a day, and I read 2 of them, so I'm like, I can't, this is too big to miss, so I blogged it out today. I just think it's a powerful commercial, and I think it sums up what Johan, Darren, Gina, Tina, I think it sums up a lot of what we've been trying to accomplish today with Inspire Connect, and this whole tour by HDI. With that said, I think I've said more than enough. I'll thank you for your time. You may keep the coals. You can keep the pipe cleaners. You can keep the raw eggs. I'm done. Thank you very much.
So you guys have all flipped a coin, right, before? Kind of understand that concept, right? Flipping a coin, heads, tails, the whole bit, right? So we actually have an app. But before we give away that, we're going to give away our local chapter membership thing by the coin flip. So Darren, will you explain exactly how the coin flip rules work?
Rules are tough. Stand up. I'm going to flip the coin. You think it's heads? Put your hand on your head. You think it's tails? Put your hand on your tail. We'll just do one for a demo. So
So the coin is flipping.
the coin's going to flip. So who thinks it's going to be heads? Put it on your head. Who's going to be tails? Put your tail. Coin, and it's tails. So all the heads, sit down.
So, see how this works?
I'll explain how it works.
Okay, so this is for the local chapter membership. And Joyce, I'm going to ask you to please, when this person comes, if you'll document the name and all, and then we'll look back at the meeting. So we can get that. So, okay, you guys ready? Everybody up?
All right.
Make your choice.
The
Heads or
coin's
tails.
going to be heads or tails. Everybody got it?
Did you upgrade your OS?
There it is.
Tails.
Tails. That's it.
All the heads sit. Okay.
Now, who's me?
Guys,
Heads
you have to choose different ones.
or tails, make your choice. Ready? Flip. Heads.
Tails sit.
Tails sit. Okay, ready? Flip.
Head your tail.
Heads.
Tails
Tails sit.
sit. Left.
Got like 5
All
left.
right, so now I can strategize. I don't know, 50-50.
Okay.
Here we go.
Ready? Make your choice.
Head your tails.
Okay, why don't you guys come up here?
Yeah.
You either left, 2, 4, let's
Come up here in the front.
come up here so they can all watch you.
Let's try to ice you.
Guys ready? Okay. Make your choice.